Hello everyone, it is gloomy and rainy outside and I thought that would be a perfect time to come into the craft room and make a budget art supply. We are going to make a watercolor travel tin. Now you can already buy these. Sometimes these can be pretty expensive though. This is Winsor & Newton. It's not a cheap brand. I got lucky and I found this one on a really good sale. And it's a really nice one. You can see you have a really nice complement of colors. It comes with its own little brush and a little spot where you can mix your colors. Most of these colors you can see are more geared for landscape. So you can take this outside in a beautiful field and just go to town with it. But like I said, sometimes these can be expensive and they don't have a lot of character to them. It's just kind of like your, little plastic box. However, if you want something a little bit more special and kind of cute, you can use these little mint tins. This one is from, of course, Bob Ross, my favorite, and I've already eaten all the happy little tree mints, so we are ready. I've washed this and it's good to go. I also found this in a yard sale a few years ago. This is kind of a vintage Whitman's chocolate tin, which is really pretty, so we may actually make one out of this too. Now, to make these, you are going to have to buy and chew some gum. I will try to show you the picture, if I can find it on the internet, of the exact gum brand in which I bought this, because you can see this gum tray fits absolutely perfectly. So we will be able to put that in very easily. Next thing you will need is, of course, some E6000. Now, I bought this at Walmart. I found that they have the individual tubes, which is usually better for me because if I buy the big one, I somehow always glue the cap to the bottle. So I thought maybe these little ones would probably work out better for me. You're also going to need some watercolor paints, of course. Now, this is a really good brand. This is student grade. It tends to be a little bit cheaper in price, obviously, than your artist and professional quality brands. But I find that for what I do, these work really good, and I really like the pigmentation of them. This one I found on a really good sale at a local art shop. Well, local for me. It took me an hour to drive there, but that's pretty local when you're in a rural area. But I've already picked out the 8 colors that I'm going to put into this. Last night, I went ahead and squeezed some already into this tray, and you can see I can touch it, not get paint on myself, so this one's still soft, but the top of it is a little bit drier. So let's go ahead and put these together. Now, first off, I'm just going to go ahead and put a dot of glue onto each one of these little gum trays, and then I will press it down into the tin. Now, you may be asking yourself, why would anyone want to take the time to do this? And there are a couple different reasons. Number one, I think it's just absolutely adorable to have a tin with Bob Ross on it, to have your paints in it and to be able to paint out of it. I think that's just really cute. But also, if you get into watercolors, you will start discovering, your preferences. Some artists like to work with these tubes of watercolor, and some artists prefer pan paints. Personally, I prefer anything in a pan. I think it's more convenient. And for whatever reason, I seem to be able to work with these paints better than I can if it's in a tube. But I didn't know that when I bought these. I was just starting out and just kind of trying to figure out what I wanted to use as a medium. And so I thought, since I haven't used these in a while because I keep going back to my pan paints, I thought it might be a really good idea to go ahead and put some of these in a pan and try to get some more use out of them. I also think that pan paints are obviously more convenient to travel with and to paint with if you're doing landscapes. If you're wandering around out in the fields, this is a lot more convenient way to carry your paints than it would be to carry all these individual tubes. Now, this set did come with 4 other colors that I cannot fit into this tin, but I may go ahead and use them when I make this one. And if you're wondering what you can use on your excursions outside and your watercoloring adventures with your new little art tin, you can buy these. I've actually seen these even at Walmart, but you can definitely get them on Amazon or Michael's, Hobby Lobby, that kind of thing. But this is a watercolor brush that you fill with water in here. And you see it's got like a little place where you squeeze up the water. And when you're ready to paint, you take the cap off and you give it a couple squeezes to prime it, and it will wet the brush here, and you have a supply of water that will activate your paints. And as you paint, the water will come out and allow you to spread that across the paper. And now, because that was so fun, let's go ahead and make this second one. I was going to wait, but now that I saw how cute that other one is, I really want to put one in this one. And I do have a second gum tray, so I think we should just go for it. And there we have our second one. I think that turned out just as pretty. Now, besides like being really easy to travel with, there might actually be another reason to make these. You can see that even after filling all of those, little spaces up, I still have quite a bit left in each of these tubes, which means that as I use up these colors, I can come back in and refill it, which I've heard actually works out cheaper than having to buy these individual little pans when you use up these paints. As you can see, my blue and purple in this one is almost gone, which means I'll have to look into actually replacing these two. But if I've already got a tube, I could have just went ahead and filled it myself. So that might be a little tip if you're just getting into watercolors. I know that a lot of these paints can be really expensive, and that may be one way you can cut your cost by getting a really nice high quality student grade paint and then just refilling your own little tin that you made yourself. It's the next day, so let's see how our little homemade tins turned out. You can see I just uploaded Friday's video, and I got my little crafting buddy with me. She becomes my little cooking buddy in the kitchen. But then when I come in here to craft, she is all over this chair wanting to be with me. And here we go. You can see they turned out really cute. This is the Bob Ross tin. I've already been playing with it a little bit just to see how it was going to go. Here's our little Whitman's chocolate tin. And this one, this almost looks like a professional pour. So I'm really happy with this one. They're incredibly secure. That E6000 is not going to let this paint fall. So you would have to literally rip that out to get that out, which is really good. And I've just got a little bit of watercolor paper here. This is a Strathmore. It's not my first choice for watercolor paper, but it's good for doing swatches. I've already used the pen to squeeze some water out onto the lid so we could make like a type of palette. And you can see it's picking up the color there. And there you go. You can lay your color down. You can see it doesn't pick up a whole lot of color, which means you're going to have to come back and pick it up quite a bit if you want to keep it saturated. And then when you want to clean the brush, you just give it a couple squeezes to get that water coming out and just wipe it on a towel. You're also going to have the added benefit of being able to really make your tins as unique as you want them to. And so you're not going to have the same travel set that everyone else does. You're going to have a really cute little Bob Ross tin, or you're going to have something, if you find in a yard sale or an antique store, that is just the perfect size. Altoid mint tins also work really good for this. You can also get little pieces of paper like this. Now this is for acrylic, but they do make watercolor Strathmore, little trading cards. These are the perfect size to throw into your purse and have with you if you see a quick little scene that you want to paint and use your little travel set with. Or of course you can take your watercolor paper and just cut some down yourself. So I hope you enjoyed that little DIY. I hope to take this set out soon. Whenever this rain lets up and the gloom finally leaves Tennessee, maybe I can take this out in the field and make a little picture and just see how it's going to test outside. So thank you for watching this one, and I'll see you next time. Bye!
And if you like historical cooking and unusual cookbooks, here's 2 more videos you might enjoy. And make sure to like and subscribe for more foodie adventures.